Uncle Tom. Is everybody okay in the back there? Kind of seated? Comfortable? Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends, family. Well, thank you for coming. I mean, I heard a couple of different stories. It was so easy to find. Your instructions were awesome. And I also heard, we parked like 5 blocks down the road. Where is this parking spot? Ernie, is Radmilo still at the subway station with the sign, or I just came? Okay, yes. So, I mean, for many of us, including myself, it's a new part of town. I think I was here 5 times before today. And when I come to this corner in between buildings, they look the same somehow. And I know there's signs, but it takes a while, basically. So, like I said in that last email, apologies for, going through the struggles. But now that we know the place, you marked it up, and we'll find it more easily next year. No, seriously. Thank you for coming. I mean, I know this is a long tradition that George started 35 years ago, but it still takes a lot of effort and energy to come and sit, enjoy for sure, but it's not just like going down the road to the neighborhood store to grab something. Thank you to all the speakers. Some of you came from quite far, and this is a weekend out of your life plus a day on the other side. Hopefully it will prove to be worth it. Sharing, meeting new friends, seeing old friends. And I'm just curious to see, can we have lights, Sandy, in the back as well? How many people are here for the first time this evening? All right. Okay, can we see one more time? Wow. Great. Okay. I wouldn't mind if you have the time and if you find me just to kind of maybe share a little bit about how did you find the venue, or not the venue? How did you find the event? Was it through friends or Facebook or word of mouth? I'm always curious to know. We don't have time to get into that, but it's something I'm intimately very intrigued by. As I was saying, George started this tradition many years ago, and some of you were there in his and Linda's living room in those early days of the symposium. And as a matter of fact, there was a symposium, or maybe a couple, that were held in this venue. Who remembers that? Who was here? Okay, yeah. So this is not new. We were here before, just not obviously all of us. There's going to be presentation, an update, and story shared by Jeremy and Carolyn from Canadian Canoe Museum. And part of that presentation is going to be an introduction that some of you may have been introduced, I think maybe a lot of you, by way of either a letter from the museum or somehow by email, about the efforts that Canoe Museum is doing to honor George in a special way. And I think we continue to do that every day when we go to paddle in our daily lives. I believe every once in a while there is a glimpse of George that comes into our life, puts a smile on our face, and we say, when is the symposium going to be? And we just reconfirm that feeling that we're going to be there again next year. So again, thank you very much for coming. Who is here from WCA board? Anybody? Okay. Yes, I see one hand there. I see 2. So you know about Wildernessand Canoe Association. We know that a lot of friends from WCA volunteer at the symposium in different ways. The symposium is a different entity from WCA, but we're so intermingled and tangled, even though we keep the databases and everything separate. But I just wanted to recognize you for your time and effort that you put in many ways to get WCA moving. And I know that membership is up, and I think tomorrow we're going to have a couple of more people from WCA. There's many special people here. I mean, special to me in different ways. I can't name you all, but I tried to hug some of you on your way in. The one person who is super special in my life who you saw on the stage here some years ago, Fred Skip Bessel. And he and Eric and I had a dinner last night. We all ate the same thing, but he had a upset stomach, so he couldn't be here now. He'll be here tomorrow. But he came from Seattle, Washington. I think, actually, I know he's in his 80s, very fit. So he was part of, those of you who don't know, part of Moffat expedition, James, I think 1962? 55, of course, yes, 55. Thank you, Fred. And very athletic, agile skis and paddles, plays tennis. He donated a couple of books about that expedition. They'll be at the book tables, and if you grab Skip, he can sign it. Is Douglas McIntosh here? Has he made it this evening? I know he'll be here this weekend. He's the gentleman that comes from Alaska for Fairbanks. Been here ever since I started to be involved. And he's someone who I see here, like many of you, just for this evening, and then I don't see him again for each year. So I always look for him to see, is he around? So hopefully he's just been delayed. Alan Jacobs, whom many, if not all of you know, is not here this evening. I think this is the first symposium that I know that he wasn't able to make it. He's a little bit frail in health. I mean, his mind is very sharp. He's, writing an ebook, and he donated a whole bunch of books to the symposium so that we can digitize a lot of our presentations from the back days, and his books will be available on the table. I just wanted to give you a shout out, Alan. Thanks very much for all the things. Well, I'm looking at the camera because he'll see this someday. And you always put those name tags and seat finders, and that's been your responsibility and pleasure for many years. So we had a couple of really nice younger girls do it this year, and they did a great job. So you can rest assured we're keeping that tradition, and hope you get to come and see us next year. And I know you'll enjoy just watching this from the comforts of your room at some point. And then all of volunteers, some of you have the shirts, so it's easy to recognize. Some of you have not been outfitted with the shirts yet. Thank you in so many different ways. Mark, Sandy, Matt, Erika, Ernie, there's so many of you. We'll have a chance to properly give them thanks tomorrow, but I just wanted to give a shout out. Thanks for everything that you do. And then lastly, I'll turn it over to Erika, who's going to be an MC of this event, and she'll take us the rest of the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello. Good evening, good evening. Alex, thank you so much. I think one of the things I really appreciate about Alex is that there is such care and attention to who are we as people, and I just really want to say thank you so much for making us all feel so special. Right? So good evening, my name's Erika Bailey. My parents are immigrants from England. My mom actually was born in Scotland, and I'm the first Canadian in the family here. And I'm really excited to be here as a lifelong canoeist. The very first trip I was 3 months in my mom's tummy, and I believe that's where it all started. So, beautiful new venue. The stairs are a bit treacherous, but exciting if you do them really fast. Don't do what I say. Step 2, accept this one thing. Don't do what I do. I've lost my name tag. I'm not asking you to find it, but please keep your name tag with you at all times, unless your name's Erika Bailey, in which case, I guess because you're the MC, they allow you in anyway. So yeah, your name badge is just basically like, who are you? Oh, cool, that's what you do. So it's a great way to connect with one another, and so when we go and get snacks, foods, and so on, you can like identify each other in the cafeterias. So you will have noticed there's the food, there's no lunch and no dinner provided as it was in past years, but there's an amazing food court with all sorts of things. I got a bubble tea, there's sushi I think I'm gonna go for tomorrow. It's a great place to socialize, wonderful courtyards there. The book tables. So the book tables, there are 3 book tables. They are in the hallways. They open at 8:30 sharp tomorrow morning. This is cheaper than Amazon. Right? 3 thumbs up for that. Cheaper than Amazon. Don't tell Amazon I told you that. So we have the amazing lusted collection that was donated to the Canadian Canoe Museum. And that will be available at a separate table where you can ensure that you're providing support to the museum. There are the new books, which are really giddy. And I saw some people doing this. Ooh, what's in there? And then, of course, when we were sorting out the donated books, I had to pull the books off of the volunteers' hands. You can't buy them yet. It's tomorrow at 8:30. So we accept cash, Canadian cash. If you have American dollars, that's fine. We'll take them at par. Thank you very much for the donation. We like y'all so much. We'll just do that for you. And so just a couple other housekeeping items. There are a number of washrooms. Oh my gosh, has anyone seen the washrooms? Oh my gosh, they're so big. Anyone who's new to Symposium, you don't understand what that means. I've only ever seen the women's bathrooms at the last place, but oh my gosh, you had to do this. Ooh, 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 ding! It was really hard to get into. There are miles of bathrooms just down this hallway. There's even gender-neutral bathrooms. They're all wheelchair accessible. I can't tell you enough about how great these bathrooms are. Finally, there's a community board. And so pasted up on the wall near the book tables is the community board where you're looking for paddlers, you're looking for trips, you want to sort of let people know. There's also a lovely resource table at the top. Before we get into our formal program, however, I am going to do a quick land acknowledgement. Tomorrow, because we'll have so many more people, I will do a more substantial one at that point in time. I know that from what I learned from Indigenous people in my work is that it's important when we start a ceremony, a really important gathering, that we have a land acknowledgement. This one's just going to be the basic one, but I want to talk to it a little bit more tomorrow. So with your permission, I'm just going to read that, and then we'll talk about it a bit more tomorrow. The Wildernessand Canoe Symposium is being held at York University, and this institution is situated on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. This is also known as Te Toronto. It has been taken care of by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It has been and still is home to thousands of Indigenous peoples. I would like to acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, and this is an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. As a settler myself to this land, and as a treaty person, along with all Canadians, I am so grateful for this land and to the Indigenous people of Turtle Island, which is the name for North America. They have been, and as we know, still are, the caretakers and protectors of this land since time immemorial. So with that, Alex, do you want to do the introductions? Or do you want me to do that?
Yes, I can do that.
You want to roll this? Awkward pause. All right, so who thinks they're the furthest traveler? Who thinks they're like from way far away? Scotland? We've got Scotland. No? Peterborough, no. Beautiful country. Smithers, BC. That's almost equidistant as Scotland. And about the same accent. Yes? Yes. Where else? What else have we got in the house? Yeah, where's the rest of our American friends? Where are y'all?
Did this work?
Hi, hey. Is that what you say? Hi, Wendy, how are you? All right, anyone from downtown Toronto? Woo! Okay, and who traveled the TTC? Y'all so brave, oh my gosh. Anyone get stuck in traffic? All right. Anyone bicycle here? I did not. No, not tonight. I had a big bag of snacks I had to bring. I couldn't do that. Y'all hooked up?
Yeah, we're working through the technical difficulties, but I can do the next move, which is to introduce. Thank you, Erika. Thank you, darling.